Hi, my name is Hannah Jewel Kohn. I play Marcia Murphy in A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical on tour. Hello!
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I am doing amazing. Hey, thank you for making this work. I appreciate all the
No,
craziness.
thank you for also just being kind. I always have to be careful because the Wi-Fi is always weird in certain cities for me
Oh,
on
sure.
interviews, so thank you. I love your background.
Thank you. I did it myself.
I love it.
Well, to jump right in, how do you get to preparing for somebody like Marcia and playing a role like this? I feel like there's a whole level of added pressure just knowing that this role is based on like obviously a real live person. Is there more
Yeah.
stress?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I first read the script, I really saw a lot of myself in Marcia Murphy. So I was really thrilled to play a person that, is out there in the world, but doesn't share a lot of information about themselves. So what I get to do as an actor is bring my own life experiences into Marcia Murphy and see her through the lens of things that I've been through. And she, in the story, she's been through heartbreak, loss, she's been through love, and she's been through connection and success. And so the all of those things I have channeled from past experiences or even just, booking this role and that energy that I felt. I just brought that into Marcia. So to go off your question, it was challenging, but very rewarding in the best way.
I love that. Now, I know a lot of actors kind of have like a pre-show ritual that really gets them in the mindset of the character they're playing every night. What is yours?
I have a lot of pre-show rituals. I would say my biggest one is honestly going into the theater and standing on the stage when the curtain is down and just hearing the audience chatter before the show even begins. And I like to just kind of feel the energy of the theater. And something that I do before every single show, so we've had about 430 something shows that we've done. Before every single show, I do the same thing, which is I stand in the wings before I make my first entrance, and I do a little like breath work series to help me release anything Hannah Jewel Kohn is dealing or thinking about away. And I bring in Marcia Murphy. I bring in the story that I'm about to tell and who I am, because the hardest thing that you can do is bring your baggage or your what you're eating after the show onto the stage. You know what I mean? Like, I really try to channel Marcia Murphy. Who am I? What am I doing in the scene? What am I here? How am I here to serve? And why is it important that I step on this stage and change the story a little? So I really try to release and bring in the story so that I'm stepping on the stage as if it's the first time I'm doing this, and only as Marcia Murphy, not as Hannah Jewel Kohn.
I love that answer. And honestly, this is the first time I've ever heard anybody answer with, standing behind the curtain too and kind of just getting the vibe of the audience through the curtain. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like it because it brings a lot of gratitude to my show. That, when the lights are on and it just looks like a dark hole out there, I forget that there are human beings that are sitting watching this show. And my main goal, the reason I started theater, was to serve and to bring, people the gift of theater. And so if I forget that people are out there, I forget what my purpose is a little bit. And I need to hear people. I need to feel that they're there. And then I can step on that stage and feel it, like this is my purpose today. It's a weird thing to do, but it's been really helping me. I really enjoy it.
Love it. I think that totally makes sense. That's
Yeah.
now one of the obviously main things, of course, is you have to be able to kind of channel a lot of chemistry between Marcia and Neil night after night. What do you guys do to kind of keep that fresh and authentic every night on the stage?
Well, we really hate each other, so that certainly played. Okay. No, Nick and I have a great, great, great connection on stage, and we spent 4 weeks creating that together. So we have such a locked in connection. I would say to keep that fresh every day, we kind of just we're really real with each other. You know, if we're having like a day where we're really hyper, or we just kind of like feed off of each other. And if there's a day where we're just like, you know, a little bit tired, a little bit run down, we had just traveled, it's an 8-show week, then we just kind of look at each other and, you know, accept each other for who we are, as we are. We don't judge, and we don't try to be anything that we're not. And I think that that helps us. Now, we always have an amazing connection, and in reviews and stuff, people will always say how great our chemistry is, and it's just because we really honor each other and we like each other, and and we respect one another as a person, as an actor. And I think that being on the road and being with people all the time, these are your family, and you have to figure out how to love and support and respect each other, or else it's not enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, talking about being on tour and of course being, you know, traveling from city to city, you guys have to have some amazing behind the scenes experiences that happen throughout the show. Is there any one in particular that kind of comes to mind that just makes you smile when you think back on this tour?
I mean, my biggest one is when Neil Diamond saw the show in Los Angeles. And that was bucket list, coolest moment of my life so far. Talking with Neil Diamond himself was like an out of body experience. I like get chills thinking about it because, you know, I can't even imagine what it would feel like to sit in the audience and watch your story being told on a stage through a musical. I can't imagine. I hope one day somebody tells my story, because I certainly have some stories to tell. But yeah, when he, you know, surprised the audience by singing Sweet Caroline and everyone saw that he was there, that was something I wasn't really prepared for. I know how loved he is all around the world, but being in that environment and seeing and hearing it was electric. How the room was buzzing, like they were screaming and yelling and phones and like it was like almost, I can only like equate it to like Taylor Swift, like somebody who like I grew up like listening to over and over again. So what a cool experience. That's something I'll look back on and remember forever, honestly, forever.
I love that. So I have to share a story. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yes.
So I'm wearing a Halloween Horror Nights shirt because lately when I think about Halloween Horror Nights, I think of Neil Diamond, which is not a statement that has ever been said. So last year, Halloween Horror Nights had a scare zone that was 70s vampire themed, which is fine. You know, everybody's walking around getting spooky. But one of the songs they, of course, played in the middle of that scare zone was Sweet Caroline. And it was the most incredible thing seeing this packed park with spooky people all of a sudden drop all of the spookiness and everybody collectively singing Sweet Caroline, doing the bop bop bops, the whole thing. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And it's one of those things that I've been thinking a lot about as we get closer and closer to the show coming to Houston. And yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but the audience goes wild and they eat up Sweet Caroline. They love it. They're all singing along. So yeah, you'll definitely have a lot of fun when you come see the show, because you're going to pretty much feel like you're on the stage. You'll be singing along.
Now, talk to me a little bit about what audiences in Houston can expect from the costumes and some of the sets that we're going to get to see during the show.
Yeah, I always like to say, you know, Neil Diamond, he really could have had a mini-series, an autobiography, a biography, anything to tell his story. And he told his story through a musical. That's the only way that you can really enjoy his story, his full story. And I always like find that so interesting But the more that I do this show, the more I realize why there's no biopic, but there's a musical. And it's because you feel like you're in a real life concert. You feel like you're touring with Neil Diamond. The sets, the band is on stage. You feel the music pumping into your blood. You feel the bass on your feet. Nick Fradiani sounds exactly like Neil Diamond. And if you close your eyes, you could not tell the difference. And the costumes, there's sequins, there's number after number, there's songs that you are going to be surprised that Neil Diamond wrote. I know that a lot of people walk away saying, I didn't know he wrote that. I didn't know he wrote that. I didn't know that was his song. So you're going to be very surprised, but you're also in for a treat because it's not what you expect. And I don't like to really share too much because I want people to experience it for themselves, but it's breaking down what made him stuck in his career and diving into that and trying to strip away all of the noise that he has built in his brain, in his body, because of the fame and the traveling. And who is Neil Diamond without the fame and the 10,000 people screaming his name? And it's moving, it's relatable, it's inspiring, it's electric. Whether you're 9 or 99, you'll find yourself in that show, in somebody on that stage.
I love that. Now, kind of going back to your character, what do you think it is to be about her story in particular that's really going to kind of resonate with audiences, especially in terms of kind of like love and sacrifice and identity?
Yeah, well, so Marcia Murphey meets Neil Diamond at the bitter end where she works. She's a bartender. And, you know, she's very witty and sharp. She says it like it is. She's one of those kind of girls. She's confident, but she's been through a lot. She has a lot to really push aside. And so she talks about, you know, to Neil, because he comes into the bitter end with a lot of clouds. We call them clouds, like limited beliefs, negative thoughts. He's just kind of down, right? And she sees when he performs this gift in him, and she pushes him to believe in himself. And she's like, no. Like, you're going to have backup singers next time. You're going to come next time. You're going to show up. You're going to show out. You're going to bring this. You're going to have a band. You're going to do. She pushed him and played such a pivotal part in his life, his success, his career. And so what people will resonate with is, or maybe just walk away feeling a little more inspired to support the people around them, because we need tribes. We cannot move through life alone. Just like my mom has been my tribe, my boyfriend is my tribe, my family has been my support system, my tribe. Like, your vibe is your tribe. And if you don't have people there to lift you and build you up when you feel like you're not enough or you're not good enough, like, it's really hard to do that alone. And so what Marcia Murphey does, which is something I resonate with in my own life, is help people to believe that they have something to share with the world and to push them to have the courage to just believe in themselves and to just try it. Like, have the courage rather than to just sit back and kind of flow through life without trying. And if that makes sense, but they're going to walk away wanting to help the people around them and to believe in the people around them just a little bit more, which I think is really beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I know that Houston audiences are incredibly excited to see this performance. I honestly, I normally end with, you know, asking actors why people need to come see the show, but I think that every question that you have answered is literally why you need to come on down, Houston, and see A Beautiful Noise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those shows, you know, I've been a part of a lot of shows. I've done musical theater for 15 years. I've been a part of 30-something shows, like big productions. This show is very different to me. And, you know, it was in collaboration with Neil Diamond himself. So this show is really good. And it's really entertaining and it's really moving. and the audiences are laughing and singing and dancing, but they're also weeping at the end of the show because it is so beautiful. This story, the arc that the doctor, Lisa Renee Pitts, who plays Neil Diamond's therapist, the doctor, you'll understand what I mean. But when you see the show, but she really gets him to this breaking point, and it is so beautiful when, you know, they talk about how living in the in-between is okay. That in life, we often feel like it's always high or it's always low, but like, are you okay in the middle? And just feeling content in the middle when you're doing the mundane things. Like, can you find joy in the middle? And I think everybody in life, we can all relate to that as we move so fast through everything in our days. Like, you know, it's just, it's a really good message. It's something that a lot of people can check into and remind themselves of slowing down and enjoying and bringing gratitude. And you know what I mean? It's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you got it. There you have it, guys. You come on down to the Hobby Center. Check out A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical. It's going to be playing November the 4th through the 9th at the Hobby Center. Tickets are on sale now at thehobbycenter.org. Come and see it. Let's come and be inspired together with Hannah and the rest of this phenomenal cast. You're not going to be disappointed. Hannah, again, seriously, thank you so much for your time today. You've been amazing.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to see you in Houston.
I can't wait for y'all to come and see the show. It's going to be awesome.
This has been Ray with the Houston Film Fanatics. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks, everybody.